Like champagne, it's elegant, one of a kind, and you'll only find this after party on the Express.
Cheers.
Cheers. On today's show,
Oh my God!
proof that wishes do come true, especially when you least expect them.
Thank you!
Then revisit the Fort Barons Winery as they take home top 25 accolades at Cornucopia.
The spot that we found here in the valley is about the best spot that you can grow grapes in.
And finally, escape to a world of beauty, bounty, and bubbles.
Beautiful, thank you.
Celebrate the magic of our community on today's show. Welcome to the Express on Shaw TV. I'm your host, Nicole Fitzgerald, and join me for my favorite time of year, Cornucopia, where chefs, wines, and restaurants shine. None brighter than here at the Bubbles and Ocean After Party at Araxi. A special moment also took place in Squamish this week.
She's really barely holding together now. The doors don't open.
This old van is nearing the end of its life, while Squamish Food Bank President Susan Newman still goes strong, even after dedicating a decade of her life to this Goodwill House, which provides for more than 400 people twice a month. It's a lot of mouths to feed, not to mention a lot of food to transport.
We desperately need a new van.
Unbeknownst to the food bank, Shaw took up Susan's wish and went to work, rallying businesses and individuals throughout the Sea to Sky corridor and Lower Mainland.
It's one of the great stories of Together is Amazing. We got lucky. One of our staff from Whistler was doing a tour of the Sea to Sky region food banks to see what the real needs were. And when we hit Squamish, the question was, what do you really need? They needed a van.
A van was pulled from the Shaw fleet, and Premier and Calco mechanics went to work on dents, paint, brakes, and the liftgate, while C2 Imaging gave the work truck a new purpose.
And we also agreed to do a 1-year full bumper-to-bumper warranty on the vehicle. It's going to be, a good, strong vehicle for them.
Squamish's wish set out for Shaw offices in Squamish, where the last items of more than 2,800 pounds of food were loaded by an excited crew of employees and their families.
Everyone was excited throughout the whole thing, so that's what made it important.
Thinking they were being interviewed for Shaw's Fill the Food Bank television special, Susan and food bank volunteers had no idea what was in store for them.
Oh, Susan, we have a very special surprise for you today. I'd like you to turn around.
Oh my God!
I just saw food bank. I thought they were just bringing food.
I believe these are yours.
Oh. Thank you! Who do I thank for this?
So stoked. So stoked. So surprised and excited and just all good emotions, which is nice for a change.
Now I gotta learn how to drive it.
So do I.
It's bigger and we can put a lot more food in it. Less trips with the lift. It's going to be so much easier for everybody.
Together is amazing. Something our country desperately needs. 1/3 of food bank users are children.
It's important to donate because unfortunately times have made it where people need it. And I don't mean just single people. There's mums, single mums with babies. There's families with babies that come, seniors that come, because they just don't have enough to make it last. It's tight sometimes, but this will be a big help.
Shaw's Together is Amazing Fill the Food Bank initiative wrapped up this weekend. We raised more than 1 million pounds of food for food banks across Canada. Here in Pemberton and Whistler, the community raised 6,000 pounds, along with $1,700 in cash. It's something to celebrate, just like our next story. Congratulations to the Fort Barons Winery. The Lillooet Winery was awarded the Top 25 accolade here at Cornucopia. Meet the winemaker behind this award-winning Meritage.
Here's a nice grape trying to establish here. It's always exciting being a farmer to see how things are growing. We survived our first winter, which is pretty critical for new vines.
Helene Ponaku has had to source grapes from the Okanagan for her handcrafted elixirs she produces at her newly opened Fort Barons Estate winery. However, the former banker, who is now interested in a different kind of stock growth, has high hopes for her own harvest next year.
Messy down here. We discovered a few at the end of the season, and they had a good ripeness level. I'm expecting a lot from the quality of the grapes here.
And Lillooet is expecting the same for its first winery. Originally slated for the Okanagan, this Netherlands native instead found herself buying 20 acres of land in the arid hills of a town where prospectors once sought gold 150 years ago.
The spot that we found here in the valley is about the best spot that you can grow grapes in. We have a lot of sun hours. It's very good soil here. It's got good drainage.
Drawing on France and Italy's cellars as her muse, this European may rough it in the fields, but her winemaking exudes a refined elegance that is already garnering national attention.
Last week we heard that we got a silver medal for our first red wine that we're selling, which is Meritage. A silver medal in the All-Canadian Wine Championships. And that's very good because the competition is really high, and we had to compete in a category over $25 because our wine is just over $25.
Oh, this is a medal winner.
In keeping with the pioneering spirit of the gold rush, Helene is breaking new ground, diversifying a local economy once reliant on mining and forestry, while at the same time honoring the historical heritage surrounding her.
Our name for our winery we got from that historic period as well. Fort Barons was built by the Hudson Bay Company back in 1859. The exact location is sort of a mystery. We believe it was somewhere out in our vineyard somewhere.
A place where now a different kind of gold will be unearthed. The Fort Barons Meritage is definitely a favorite, but tonight it's all about bubbles. What are we having here tonight?
Well, I'm starting off my evening, don't tell anyone, with a little glass of Pommery Brut Royale. We have an amazing lineup of bubbly here tonight at our event.
A very special evening, not only for bubbles, but the food looks absolutely incredible. What was the inspiration behind tonight's showcase?
Well, this whole weekend is mainly about the wine, and so tonight the big thing is champagne. So we wanted to get food that kind of pairs well with champagne.
Now I know you're a veteran of bubbles. What keeps you coming back year after year?
I think it's such a great event. It's a very social occasion. The champagne they offer here is wonderful. Of course, their canapes and appetizers and seafood is beautiful.
So is there one canapé that sticks out in your mind as really showcasing champagne well?
Well, yeah, there's actually kind of two, and I think the first is being the classic, which is oysters, and we're pretty fortunate because we buy them direct from the farm. The second thing would be crab, the Dungeness crab, because it's kind of sweet.
Well, there's a lot of things to celebrate tonight, and one of them I'm really excited about. I see that Neil Henderson is back.
Yes, Neil is back at the helm of Araxi. We were welcoming him back with open arms and really excited to have him back here.
Now I noticed a lot of the seafood was sort of named beforehand, like Tofino, Qualicum Beach, all names that are familiar. And I noticed that there was also a lot of familiar names on your Big Guns Winemaker dinner. Can you tell me a little bit about your philosophy and behind all this?
Well, it's, you know, our biggest goal is to support the regional cuisine and the regional products around here, and we're really fortunate to be where we are geographically.
You can even take Araxi home with you. Their self-titled cookbook is the only Canadian cookbook to be nominated for the prestigious James Beard Award. I love the halibut herb recipe, and it's fairly simple to make. It's a great way to impress guests at your next dinner party, especially if you're serving them this. Still to come, we're celebrating everything food and wine, and Whistler food artisans don't get any cooler than this.
One day I was like, how come there's not a great gelato place in Whistler?
And find out this season's trends for wedding cakes.
Definitely rental cakes and cupcakes. This year, a lot of purples. Purple is a huge color.
Welcome back to the Bubbles and Oceans After Party at Araxi. I'm your host, Nicole Fitzgerald, and you're watching The Express. Meet a sweet addition to Whistler's food scene. The ski patroller turned gelato maker churns out everything handmade and heavenly.
There is a science. You need to know sugar in every ingredient that you use. Lemons to sugar to milk to cream. And so then you can be able to have the perfect freezing point. So in the end, it's science that makes a good gelato.
This Whistler gelato maker knows her ingredients. Whether using Whistler's pocket chocolate for chocolate hazelnut kiss gelato or freshly squeezed lemons from the local grocery store for lemon sorbet, ingredients are as pure as the company name suggests.
It means pure and light. We're going to make lemon today, so it's made with real lemons. So that's where the pure comes from, and the light comes from gelato is about 1/6 the fat of ice cream.
You could almost call this icy escape good for you. Fluffy white peaks have been a love affair for this old-fashioned food artisan for quite some time. Once a full-time ski patroller, the now full-time gelato maker is carving out a new vocation thanks to a trip to Australia.
We would go to this local gelato place every day before surfing or after surfing, and we really love gelato. And one day I was like, how come there's not a great gelato place in Whistler, or someone that makes like homemade gelato and with a lot of love and heart? And he's like, well, why don't you do that? And I was like, yeah, why don't I? I love the smell of it, so I've become instead of a gelato eater, I've become a gelato sniffer.
Everything is done by hand from start to finish. Catherine's other gelato secret? Turning up the heat.
The idea of heating it up is that it melts all the sugars, cream, milk, and infuses all the flavors together. So it makes a smoother, more intense flavor. It's sort of like the idea of trying to mix cold milk with chocolate powder. It never really mixes.
Lucio Gelato stands on top of Whistler Mountain at the Whistler Farmers Market are wrapping up with fall, but gelato gals need not despair. We'll be singing Amore all winter long here at Hadley Scoops in Whistler Village. Dawn Cherry Chocolate Hazelnut Kiss, those are definitely my favorites. And today I'm branching out with Mojito. It's the taste of summer in a cone.
It's a three-way battle between chocolate orange, chocolate raspberry truffle, and chocolate banana fudge.
A sweet dilemma, just like this independent business's next step.
Right now I'm in the struggle to stay either the size I am or grow really big, like do national distribution.
Giving Canada the old 1-2, pure and light. A knockout combination that is anything but vanilla.